Hi, I'm Manu. I'm the co-founder of VAMA.app.
Manu, let's start by understanding the trigger to become a founder. Tell us about that.
I think I'm an accidental founder, Akshay. Uh, I was a corporate employee for about 17, 18 years. Last job was at Aircel, and this is when India was going through the Geo mobile revolution. And I was a, and you if you've done well in your corporate life, so you feel, yeah, acha, you're good at it. So I wanted to apply work for the top companies, and I can name them: Amazon, Google, Meta. Interview call nahi hai yaar. So reality is this, right? Like, I'm not a pedigreed education guy. And there was a joke in my social circle at that time from one HR of one of these companies who said, "Tell this boy to stop sending his resume." Because I used so many of my friends. I said, "Yeah, interview to le lo." Right. And I didn't make we didn't get an interview call. Right. Like, and then I would thought that, okay, what will I do? I could have gone back to company that I had worked for earlier, like Paytm, 197. I still had their B2B business for telecom operator VAS, or be
So
part
this
of that VAS
VAS,
world.
VAS is an interesting word, and I mean today it's like I would say almost like a dead kind of a
Yeah,
business
yeah,
model. But there were
yeah.
so many companies which got their start in this VAS space, including Paytm and a bunch of others. And what was VAS? I mean, most people
So,
today may not even
sure,
understand VAS ka full form
sure,
kya hai.
sure. So VAS means value added services. So whatever you use your mobile phone for outside of calling and texting, even like mobile data at one time was VAS, right? Like, so people would take, so caller tunes is a great example of VAS. You'll be very surprised to know that India's largest VAS consumed service was astrology. And I think that's the genesis of it. But I think coming back to my founder journey, so you're unemployable because you want to work for a set of companies and you don't get a job, and then you don't want to compromise and go back to where you come from. And I think over a conversation with, I remember this very distinctly. This was a friend from Paytm. He's called Ajay. And Ajay literally said, "Yaar, you've made enough people millionaires. Why don't you try for yourself?" Right. And he said, if it doesn't work, come work for us at 197. And I remember this call very clearly, right? Like, and I said, okay, I'll try. I had an idea to try to build something in the VAS ecosystem. Uh, and it started from that. Akshay, and to tell you honestly, I never thought of raising venture at that time. It didn't even occur to me that someone would fund me क्योंकि शायद rejection
This
मिला
is
था नौकरी में. This
2018,
is 2018. This is
2019.
2018. This is 2018.
तब तक तो
This is
वैस मार्केट डेड हो गई थी मतलब
यार तो मेरा जो
was it still a
आइडिया
large scam like
it
and
was not a
but
very large time.
I just want to help my listeners
Yeah,
understand vast market what that means. So like uh, for example cricket updates,
yeah,
you pay 50 rupees a month and you get
yeah,
SMS with cricket updates on what's
yeah,
happening, so cricket
yeah,
fans
yeah,
would subscribe to that. So this was a big
yeah.
market pre smartphones. Once you had
Absolutely,
smartphones, then for cricket updates you'll just download an app, so that service
absolutely.
is no longer something for which a telecom operator can monetize you.
Yeah,
uh, and same thing would have been there for astrology also. I'm assuming you would have paid 50 rupees
yeah,
a month to get daily
yeah.
horoscopes.
You would pay 9 rupees a minute to talk to an astrologer, I think.
Okay.
Right.
Got it. ठीक है.
So, but
So now tell me, what
Akshay,
was your idea?
yeah, it was. So, एक idea था कि non-internet phones were still there in India. Even today, I think 18% of India is on a non-internet phone. So I built a content product for them on tied up with Nokia, Carbon, Lava, Micromax, and that product did very well for me. It was a new, cool product. It became the genesis of my first company called Carbonate. And when I was building Carbonate, it became more a services business. We went out to Middle East, we went out to Myanmar, we went to
What was
Africa.
the content about? What was, help me understand the
Yeah, so
product better.
content was astrology,
Okay.
surprisingly. Astrology, Bollywood updates. Then we started doing small, real, casual, hyper casual games. Right. So we basically became like a distribution channel also for a lot of companies to go to telecom operators. Right. तो जब मैं ये बना रहा था, इसको बनाने के लिए पैसे चाहिए थे. Plus, I needed to
And
fund my
this,
own.
why would a
Yeah,
Nokia pay you for this? A Nokia feature phone would have some sort of an
yeah.
astrology app in it. That's why they
Correct.
would pay
So
you.
I would hard bundle my app of astrology in a Nokia feature phone, which had telecom operators for billing, and that's literally how we saw it.
ठीक है, got it. Okay,
Right.
ठीक है.
So this did very well for me. But while I was
What
building
kind
it,
of revenue?
we hit a 3 million ARR,
Wow, with no external
and
funding,
no funding, no funding.
lean team.
And this is super profitable business, man. This is like a great cash cow business, right? But I always used to think that VAS has a shelf life, right? And I think that's why I also wanted to build something else. Um, तो दिमाग में यही था, राइट, कि वो खत्म हो जाएगा एक दिन, ओवरनाइट बंद हो जाएगा सब कुछ, राइट, एंड दैट फियर ऑफ यू डूइंग व्हाट यू डू. एंड व्हाइल आई
Because
वाज
you're
बिल्डिंग इट,
basically it's a technology arbitrage. You said
एब्सोल्युटली
18% are
100%,
using a feature phone. वो 18%
yeah,
will become 10%, 5%.
0%. Yeah,
हाँ,
100%, 100%. And I think while I was building Carbonate, I was hustling because I had two daughters. You can't go to parents for money. You don't want to even share with your partner or wife कि यार फटी है, पता नहीं क्या कहाँ से क्या करना है, right?
but
I was
फटी की
very
थी जब
fortunate,
3 million ARR था, like
but it took, so 3 million ARR is like 2020, right? Like when I
okay,
started, it was tough, right? Like 2018
no
or
salary.
2000, no salary, man. Like, so I was very fortunate. I try to put a science behind it. I ask for help a lot, Akshay, and I go deep into my network, right? Um, so I got
And
great
I just
consulting
want to
offers.
point out to listeners here, before we started recording, you asked me for advice on what should I do to be a good guest. So I can
Yeah.
validate your claim that you asked for help.
Yeah. So, so I did consulting gigs. I worked with a company called Shiros, which is run by Sairi, a phenomenal Indian entrepreneur. I worked for Boku Mobile Identity. But I'm a sales partnerships guy, right? So I said, I will do my sales partnership skill. You pay me some fixed consulting, and in the evening, I will build my startup, right? तो फिर एक आदत लगी मल्टीपल काम करने की, as an entrepreneur. And that did very well for me. I was consulting last with a company called Boku. Then I joined Bureau Mobile Identity, large funded startup. I was building this. And I always had the fear of Carbonate dying, right? That's my first startup, right? Like, because मर जाएगा. Surprisingly, आज भी चलता है. And I
Oh
had this
wow.
fear in 2019 that it will die. While the business drastically scaled down. But yeah, wife runs it, a couple of friends support it. So it runs, right? Like it's on a it's maybe still solving the purpose, puts food on the table is how I say it, right? Um, and VAMA happened because the three co-founders, all of us come from that vast ecosystem, right? Himanshu, my co-founder, was my client back in the day at Vodafone in 2010 when I was at 197 servicing him. Acharya ji was my content partner that I used to take content from, for astrology. So जब
Okay.
हम तीनों मिलते थे, कुछ कंज्यूमर करना होता था, we used to think यार कि ये तो कर ही सकते हैं. And you would see people posting on social media that astrology they're doing so well. And we knew a lot of those people because a lot of these people that you see today were vast vendors. So we know them like for a lot of years, right? And the
Who are these
contribution of
people? You're talking
yeah,
of
so
like
like Astro Yogi, Ganesha
Absol.
Speaks.
Okay.
So Astro Yogi, Ganesha Speaks were large legacy vast companies, right?
Okay.
Which pivoted, became these large internet companies also, right? So we saw them and we thought, yeah, ये कर सकते हैं, right?
Even
Like
Paytm
if
is
they
the
are,
same story, right? A vast company
yeah.
pivoted into
So
payments.
197, Nazara, even Viru at In Shorts, if I'm not wrong, they were all vast partners, man, at one point of time, right?
Yep. Yep.
That became really large, and I think a lot of people today at senior internet companies come from that content background. This was before mobile internet became popular, that we were selling content, right? So I think India, the vast industry has given India a good or decent bunch of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Goki Vishal also was in this
Yeah,
vast
yeah,
space with
yeah,
India.
absolutely, absolutely,
Mhm.
yeah. So I think that's how our journey started. और जब consumer आया तो astrology तो हमारे सामने था यार. Akshay, I'll give you an example, right? 2010, 11, I used to remember I used to service 197, say I used to service Vodafone. And the Vodafone VAS managers would say, yaar, revenue nahi ho raha, let's promote astrology. And that was it, man. So we remember this, and we used to see these online people, and we said, yeah, if they are making 100 rupees, we will make at least 10 rupees. No, and we were fine with it, right? And literally, that's how we started. Acharya ji fortunately had a supply of astrologers, so he was a large vendor for or a business partner for telecom operators. With telecom vast dying, we suddenly had this pool of astrologers who had no work, right? तो हमने सोचा एक ऐप बना के डाल देते हैं. How difficult can it be? It's been now close to what, 4 years, and we're still hustling.
Okay. Interesting. Help me understand about Acharya Dev, your co-founder on the astrology side. Is he like
Yeah.
an astrologer, and what is his background?
Yeah. So Acharya ji के grandfather Rajguru थे. That means he was an astrologer himself. His father was an astrologer. He's an astrologer. So it's a generation thing. He comes from, like, आपने शायद लखनऊ के आगे प्रयागराज सुना होगा. वो प्रयागराज के आगे से एक गांव से आते हैं, right? Has seen all the struggles in life. Became a telecom large partner. So has seen that journey, right? He learned tech because he was a vendor. उनको PRI क्या होती है, कॉल कहाँ पे लैंड करेगी, बिलिंग क्या होता है. He hustled and he's done this. Graduate in astrology, वेद पढ़ा हुआ है पूरा, became a PhD in astrology. Very man of faith, right? Like हम मीटिंगों में जाते हैं अक्षय, और मीटिंग के पहले मुझे बोलना पड़ता है कि भाई हिंदी में बात करेंगे, उसको नहीं आती इंग्लिश भाई. And some people would judge you for it also, right?
Yeah. True.
But yeah, I think our journey has been, he's been the center. So the story is this, right? Like he said, I want to build internet. मैं कुछ बनाना है मेरे को. Me and Himanshu were sitting with him, and he said, "You are the two people that I trust the most." You know, forget competence. Because नहीं जानते तो ठीक है कि चलो मिलके बनाते हैं, right? Like for us, it's always trust, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that small town ethos is that trust
yeah,
over
yeah,
capability.
yeah. So that's the story.
So what was VAMA like? What did you launch?
So we launched an astrology platform where you could come, peak astrology. The company's registered name is Select Astro. Our first app was called Select Astro. In 2021 end, I think we launched, right?
Okay.
Yeah, 2020 maybe, right? So started from astrology, and we were then trying to figure our calling in this space, right? Like, so there were three things, right? And this is literally first principles, right? If you go to an astrologer will recommend you something. And if he recommends you a remedy is either you wear a gemstone or you get a pooja done. Right? So we thought, yeah, gemstone to easy e-commerce play hai. We can do a puja play, right? So went to temples, went to Mahakal and Ujjain, and I think we were. So महाकाल सबको पता है कि एपिक शिवजी टेम्पल है, ज्योतिर्लिंग है. तो वहाँ गए, वहाँ पे पूजा करी, ट्राई टू गेट दैट टेम्पल ऑन बोर्ड एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. देन वेंट टू अ वेरी क्लोज बाय टेम्पल जहाँ पर सिर्फ एस्ट्रोलॉजी लेड पूजाज होती है. And Akshay, the light bulb went on like this, right? We saw about 70 to 80 priests doing astrology-led pujas at that temple on ground. There were 4 of them who were doing WhatsApp video pujas. I think that's where it started for us. We can easily build this, right? I'll tell you, like a lot of people ask us this, कि यार पुजारी को आता है क्या internet? I'm like, पुजारी को हमसे ज़्यादा camera angle पता है. My team goes to them, right? Because they do this for a living, right? Like COVID taught everyone how to be mobile savvy, right?
True.
So today VAMA is a services platform where you can consume astrology, and you can also book virtual puja. Very soon we will have stuff like donation, dan, chadawa, e-commerce as well, right?
So this first version, Select Astro, would have been something like an urban club where you can, or was it more like a marketplace where there are astrologers?
It's a marketplace for astrologers.
Ratings.
The only Yeah, absolutely. Marketplace for astrologers. The only difference, Akshay, was that we had in-house astrologers. तो आचार्य जी क्योंकि काफी universities में पढ़ाते थे, we were very conscious of the kind of astrology we want to do, kind of astrologers we want to get. तो आचार्य जी के हमारे in-house astrologers थे जिनको हम लाते थे, right? So we had a captive audience of astrologers. जो basically संस्कृत पढ़े हुए graduates हैं, right? जिनको हम hire करते हैं.
And people would choose which astrologer, like there would be like a
Yeah. You
profile
could choose.
page for.
You could. Yeah, absolutely. You could see ratings. You could choose everything.
Okay. Uh, so these kind of marketplaces where you are connected and you choose the person, I've not seen them scale. Typically, what scales is like in urban company, you don't choose कौन आपका वो repair करेगा, whatever. If you need an AC service, you don't choose who's going to service it. The brand stands for guarantee. I mean, the brand guarantees you consistent quality.
But the business that we are in is it's faith, right? You can't have like the trust and faith won't come on a like behind a curtain, right? Like, nahi aata. I think that's why the market has continued to operate like this. People have tried it. And I think we were very conscious of we will never try it. We know what the audience wants, right? हम 15 साल से ये देख रहे हैं टेलकोस पे यार, तो आई थिंक हमें पता है कि टेलको में तो ब्लाइंड ही होता था ना, लोग कंज्यूम करते थे, बट फिर वो उनको उसी एस्ट्रोलॉजर से बात करनी थी.
Like once
But
you go
also-
to a doctor, you want to go to the same doctor again and again.
Actually, the point is that you want to be sure who you are talking to, right? You can talk to multiple people at the clinic, right? You can talk to multiple doctors at the clinic because if the hospital is good, all doctors are good, right? But you will not go blindly into a hospital, right? Like you want to see the face of the doctor that you're going to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I understand. And what was your monetization model? Like, how much were you charging for this service of Select Astro?
So customers used to pay for astrology per minute. The pricing for astrologers were per minute, and you could buy top up. Very inspired by telecom operator days. तो जैसे मार्केट में टॉप अप मिलता था और फिर आप प्लान चूज करते हो, तो आप जाके 100 रुपए का रिचार्ज करा लो और जिस एस्ट्रोलॉजर से बात करनी है वो 10 रुपए पे है, 20 रुपए पे आप उससे बात कर सकते हो.
Okay. Got it. And so 21 you lost, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
2020 started late 2020. We started about, and 2021 app was live.
Okay. What has been the traction since then? What kind of revenues do you see currently, and what's the
So we're
split
close
of,
to so we do about 2 million ARR approximately, or maybe about April has been a little higher, right? We are more puja than astrology today. I think we are 65 to 70% of our revenue comes from puja. The remaining comes from astrology. And we also did some B2B partnerships. It is something that I think comes with the team. So we started like जीवन साथी की एस्ट्रोलॉजी हम पावर करते हैं आज, राइट? वोडाफोन आइडिया पे आप जाके एस्ट्रोलॉजी डिस्कवर करो तो वो हम पावर करते हैं.
Okay.
So such things we do. These are experiments to get us distribution or pilots that we did.
So this is a content service to Jeevan Sathi that you're providing, or Jeevan Sathi
Yeah.
has this consult app?
So they do.
within
So
Jeevan Sathi?
no. So it's a content service. It's a white label service for them.
Okay.
So you could do. They use some of our reports for matchmaking, etc. Right? Is how we see it.
So the content product would be input date and output is a report. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
How do you build this kind of a product? Like based on date of birth, what kind of report is generated? Like how did
तो
you build
कुंडली
it?
है, तो बेसिकली एक डिटेल्ड कुंडली आती है with an analysis. So we take a 24-hour time to build this out for you, and then you have a question or two questions that you want an astrologer to answer. So we have 24 hours for an astrologer to answer those two questions that you have.
Achha, this is not like
It's not on the fly.
pre-fed. Achha. I thought maybe some machine learning models get through instant.
While kundlis can be generated instant, but people are paying for their questions that they have and they want their answers.
Okay. So this Kundli service is basically it's like a KPO in a way. You have trained and qualified resources who will receive a requirement to prepare a kundli, and they will prepare that and in 24
देखो
hours.
कुंडली
Okay.
कुंडली ऑन द फ्लाई इंटरनेट पे enough platforms which will generate for you. It's more about reading that chart and answering your question correctly. I think that's where
Okay.
the actual benefit is.
Okay. 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 Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. And does this Jeevan Sathi tie-up give you users to the VAMA app? Like, is it uh, powered by
So
VAMA
that's
written over there or
100%.
something?
So powered by VAMA, we get some users for sure. I think that's the reason. That's the nature of the partnership, right? It's now been 2 years,
Okay.
but yeah, done fairly well for us.
Okay. 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 Interesting. I was curious to understand how puja became such a big part as opposed to consult.
Yes, Akshay, it's very strange, right? Like, so we launched Puja in our mind that you will do an astrology session, and after the recommend you a Puja, you will do a Puja, right? It didn't take off the way we thought it would, right? Then, on one of our visits to a temple, we realized we saw 6 people sitting in front of a pujari, and the pujari took six names together. Then we said, यार ये तो बहुत सही है. I could do this on the internet. I could basically make sessions every week, every day at a time of an event, and then you could subscribe to that, right? Like completely inspired from EdTech. I said, यार ये तो बहुत सही है. So that suddenly blew up, right? So people would pay less than 1,000 rupees to take part in a puja, which is at a predefined time, predefined purpose of the puja, and आप अपना नाम गोत्र सुनाई देगा आपको. And if you want a detailed puja, if Akshay wants to talk to the pujari, that is always available like a VIP puja. But we saw uptake more on the. I think India is a very price conscious market also, right? So this price you were able to get down because of the multiple people sitting there.
Okay. 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 Help me understand what are these types of pujas? You said based on certain events or like, give me examples.
So what we see today, so there could be a Kalsat Yog Puja, there could be a Manglik Puja, which are astrology-led events. But there are also then, things that people want a puja for. अब जैसे एक मंदिर है उज्जैन में ऋण मुक्तेश्वर, वहां पर the belief is कि आप वहां जाकर पूजा कराएंगे तो आपका डेट हट जाएगा, कार्मिक डेट, फाइनेंशियल डेट. So that is one of our most popular pujas today.
Okay.
Right. That temple is exclusive to VAMA online. ऐसी पूजाएं हैं. So people today on our platform do puja. We are puja first, not yet temple first. I think we are getting some temples also, and we are doing deeper in temples. But people come for a special purpose on the puja. But also अगर आज मंडे है, शिव जी का दिन है, तो मैं शायद आज किसी ज्योतिर्लिंग में आज मैं पूजा करा दूँ.
Okay. 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 Understood. Is this a supply driven market where, the more supply you
100%.
build of different types of pujas, the demand is there to take, you just have to build supply?
So I don't think the demand is there to take, but I think supply will be a big. Supply is the reason why someone will win, right? You could have demand, but if we control supply, then you will come to us, right? I think demand is an easier problem to solve in mobile internet and for consumer tech startup. You just need to go raise $20 million, and you need to spend money on Facebook and Google, and you will get demand, right? Supply is something that's more hard, right? So we are supply first. We focus more on supply, right? I think we are still building our demand funnels, right? We are very early in our stage, right? Our journey has been haven't raised that much money. No one gave it to us. So you go back to the basics, right? What you know and how you can build it, right?
Okay. Okay. Are there people competing for supply with you?
100%.
Who
India,
are-
any company does well, there are 100 competitors who will come up,
Yeah.
spring up, and do. So there are
But like
people. There are
100
people in this space.
competitors?
Yeah. So Sri Mandir is one of the largest companies, and I love his product. Prashant is one of the great founders, of India. He was well co-founder. He's built a great product, right? One of the highest repeat rate engagement. So while he competes, but we try to help each other, complement each other wherever we can, right? Also, or trying to get there at least.
Sri Mandir is not astrology first. It's more of a temple.
It's
app, like-
only it's a temple. It's a temple.
Okay. Access the temple of your choice and get a puja done there if you want to. And
Access like a god picture of temples also is building, but yeah.
okay. Okay. Okay.
So he's
Okay.
monetizing, but even the Astrotalk, which is the largest player in devotional space today, has started launching pujas. Right, his version of doing pujas is a little different yet, but yeah.
What is his version?
So where it's not done at temples yet, it's done by the
Acha, okay.
astrologer slash
In
pujari.
house. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what my understanding of it anyway is till now.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. And you said there is an e-commerce play which you're now launching. What is that?
Yeah, so it's more live commerce or live social commerce, like where basically
Okay.
क्या हो रहा है कि जब पूजा लाइव स्ट्रीम हो रही है ऐप पे, तो तब पुजारी ना बहुत सारे, अब जैसे वो ऋण मुक्ति पूजा में पुजारी जी दो सिक्के देते हैं, राइट, टू कॉइन्स दैट ही blesses. So those coins will be led to live social commerce. Then there is also prasad, there is gemstones obviously that people buy, there is rudraksh malas that are there that people want to buy, right? So we're trying to build on those lines. Uh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Uh, so these are the three revenue sources: puja, astrology, consult, and e-commerce.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 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 okay. Help me understand, how do you, like, how have you been doing your go-to-market so far? How have you been acquiring customers? What has worked for you? What are your learnings?
So the partnerships work very well. I think that's a unique thing that we have. Like Vodafone customers work very well. We did a partnership with PTM. We did a partnership with Cool. We did a partnership with you name a consumer app, and I have gone pitched it and said, the
Which
limited
is your
पैसे हैं तो
strength.
limited पैसे
Your
हैं,
core
right?
strength is that, right?
Core
Like,
strength is also you have limited money, right? So you need to think out of the box. Started building product-led groups also, like referrals work for us. Also, organic marketing works. Our blog team does well. Then obviously we do performance marketing. It's not that we don't do performance marketing. We also do a lot of performance marketing also.
okay, okay, okay. And you've raised some money.
Yes.
I- in this market, is it easy to raise funds for because I'm thinking that a lot of these VCs would be more Western influenced, and there is no comparable for astrology in the West. Like
So there is. So you'll be surprised that there are companies like CoStar and Sanctuary which have raised money, which have raised VC dollars in astrology. Now there's a Christianity app, Glorify and Hollow, which have raised significant money, right?
okay,
A Hindu app hasn't raised money yet, but like Shivananda is funded by Sequoia, Elevation, top investors have already supported them, right? Our journey, we have raised till now, including everything, less than $3 million in bank. Um, yeah, raising money is very difficult. It's not easy, but I think you sign up for it, right? So you're right that we are not fintech. There are clear metrics for someone to look at you. Half of the VCs don't want to take a bet on something like this, right? It doesn't fall into their playbook, right? There's no playbook for this. I think the playbook for our space is still getting written, right? So people are waiting it out. But a lot of VCs don't want to do this, and that's. I hope some of them are listening for this, right? Like, this is a great fundamental business. This business has existed since millennia. It has been the largest offline business which hasn't moved online, right? And there is no reason why it will not move online, right? But yeah, like it's like when you go talk to people at a party or a social gathering, right? You're top of the party, right? So feels like, hey, ये तो बड़ा cool. Like, what do you do? Half of them will make fun of you or mock you. Some of them will say you're right wing, more. Some of them will say, कि यार, like I've had meetings with investors where investors have come and told me that you're a good sales guy. You've been part of B2B. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And I truly believe that there will be 3 or 4 companies out of India which will break out in this space, right? Like there's no reason for it to not happen, right? All of us can't execute bad, right? Like the guy who executes the best here will definitely make it very large. And then there are already people who are there who are making like $100 million ARR. It's no small feat, right? How many fintechs in India will do $100 million ARR? You know,
You're saying like an Indian astrology app doing 100 million ARR.
Yeah, like Astrodog does $100 million ARR,
Wow.
give or take, right?
Wow. Okay.
You know,
Massive.
so for us, we have seen this at telecom operators. The vast business of telecom operators only astrology at 9 rupees a minute with 18 to 20% mobile internet penetration in 2015. I'm talking about was $100 million for Airtel, Vodafone Idea. So there is no reason why after 10 years today, this business should not, like all of us combined should be doing $500 million. You know,
Okay. 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 So there is a massive opportunity here, but so
100%. Yeah.
the typical VC objection is either we don't invest in this space, or there is a like VCs who do want to look at this space. What are their objections like?
Yeah, I think it's early, right? The market is
Okay.
early. The leaders haven't been identified yet, right? So people are waiting it out. I think that's how I see it. But I think like I've been fortunate to get a bunch of supporting angels. We have raised an angel round, then we raised the seed, from Indian early funds. Then we got Wavemaker Ventures to come and fund us, and they fund outliers, right? That may be their pieces also.
Okay.
Like a B2B fund does not do India. We're the first investment in India, right?
Oh. Wow.
So I think, but I have been fortunate to have met a lot of Indian VCs along this journey. Um, I think the tide is turning. Maybe it's going to take one or two green shoot moments. Like Ram Mandir has been a great catalyst. Right? People see what happened to India. Right? People see it. You can't ignore it. Right? So there are such things that are happening now in the macro environment, which are forcing VCs or people to look at this sector.
Right. The appetite is the consumer appetite is there. It's just about
Absolutely.
creating a good
Yeah.
experience.
Maybe it's not cool enough yet. Maybe there is no. You're right. There is no Silicon Valley Hindu super app there.
Yeah.
Right? But there will never be, right? It will come from India, right? Someone from India is going to make the Hindu super app. It's not going to come from SF, right?
So true. So true. Are you? Do you see religion as your area or astrology as your area? What is the market that you're addressing?
I think they are connected universes. They are complementary to each other. But if you were to ask me, we are chasing the temple ecosystem. I won't call it religion to be on the right side. But today we are doing Hindu temples, a part of Hindu temples. Maybe we will do Jain, we will do Buddhism, we will do other religions as well at some point, right? But we see large opportunities in one, right? I think you want to be a leader at something before we start to spread ourselves too thin.
So the commerce which happens around a temple is what you want to digitize. Like if you go to a temple, there will typically be shops outside where you can buy stuff, be it the idols or things to give to the deity or whatever, like a whole bunch of things. So all of that you want to make it online. Plus the actual act of the puja is something which you've already made online. You
And
said you're
also,
also going to do donations.
yeah, so I'll tell you, right? Like we've made temples which are not very large temples, but they're not very small as well, right? Chitrapur temple in UP, right? The temple administration came to us that day and said, "Can you also put your QR code so my donation comes directly?" And it's pure, and this is like a fintech play, and we don't do this. And they were like, "Why do you want us to do it?" Because they said, "Here, aap log, you understand the business, and the temples also it's a lot of trust game, right? Like." They want to talk to the guy that's doing some deeper things for them, right? I think Pooja has been our first product there. We will have at least 9 more products that will come out. Some of them are virtualizing or digitizing an offline product. Some are purely digital, like a katha that happens offline by a mahant, right? Can easily be the equivalent of it is like a clubhouse room that you remember, right? That used to happen on a Twitter live, right? Like it can easily come. People want to listen to it, right? So there is enough of such products here that exist. We just have to prioritize and deploy them.
Okay. So what are those 9 products that you think will come out?
ये
What
सारे
you
तो
said
नहीं
is
बता
Katha.
सकते. I'm not going to share all of it. But yeah, Katha is one. Donation is another thing that I see happening. I see prasad delivery as also a very, very big thing. People are also trying to build chadhawa, right? कि आपने वैष्णो देवी गए हो, आपको चुन्नी चढ़ानी है, right? Can you do that for me? Right? Like, so such things will exist. Live streaming exists today. Can you, using IoT on your app, press a button and you can actually light a candle physically at a temple? Right?
Okay.
Would you do that? Right? Like, there's enough gamification already happening, but can you actually build it at a temple? That live stream में आपने आज 50 रुपए चढ़ाए, वहां पर दक्षिणा दी है, टेम्पल के स्पीकर पे 50 रुपए चल, ये आपकी, आप यू कैन लिसन टू इट, वो एक्चुअल टेम्पल मेरा नाम सुनाई दिया. People have those
Right.
kind of things.
Right. Okay. How is a like is a temple like a company? What is it like? Who are you talking to here? Who's getting the donation when somebody's doing that? Like,
So temple trusts, so temples are run by temple trusts.
okay.
Temple trusts have their own administration. The head priest also is an important part of, or an important person in that whole process, right? So we work closely with trusts or head priests. A lot of temples these days have government bureaucrats as part of the temple trust, and they, so like the local DM will be part of the trust. So we work with any and every stakeholder along this way.
Okay. So the donation goes to the temple trust basically, and
So donation is actually a legalized government mandated process, right? So donation in India on temples is very regulated, right? And that's why I think we are taking our time to launch it. It goes directly into the bank account of the temple, right? And maybe a platform can charge some processing fee for it, but I think it's also a lot of it is built already. You can't take foreign donation also from a lot of people. Only 2-3 temples are allowed to do that. So I think we are also building that product now.
okay. Uh, like you need to do KYC if someone wants to do a donation. Like that is the challenge here.
Something like that, right? And you have to be very careful with the temple, that how it will be launched. I think, like I said, right, like we are still early in our journey. So donation is a whole blown product that I see. Right? It could be a separate app itself, right? That we might launch, or we might get a sub app inside VAMA, right? So right now we're trying to get the right advice on how to launch it. Temples have agreed with us to launch donation, but I think we are trying to build our thesis around it very well before we get into it.
Okay. Understood. So, what's like advice that you want to give to bootstrap founders on the things that they can do to continue to build scale, even if the VCs are saying no?
I've been a bootstrap founder. But grass is always greener on the other side, is what we think. Today I'm VC, and I think the purpose of VC money is if you want to build a rocket ship, you want to get on the moon, and that's what I wanted to build. Right, I was happier. I was doing a nice business, happy, but if you have built, and I think I blame some part of my childhood insecurity to build ours. Then the job happened at 197 where I was managing a large team. Then I went to Aircel where I was managing like I think 100 crore a month revenue number, right?
Wow.
And nothing, and then you get used to looking at large numbers, right? And then only that excites you, right? So I think if you want to build like a large business, that's when you go get on this. This is a ride that we have signed up for, right? Like a VC expects minimum 10% month on month growth is what a VC will expect, right? Like and in your traditional business, bootstrap growing 20% a year also sometimes is good. A VC in 20% a year will have 3 analysts sitting in my office saying that, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
Okay. But I mean, coming back to what is it that a bootstrap founder can do to continue to build scale and
By bootstrapping it, or so I think, look, VC is just form of capital, right? There are multiple forms of capital available today, right? There is revenue based finance. Like 5 years ago, it wasn't so popular at all, right? So if capital is a means, VC is one of the channels, right? There are enough things happening there. Is the question, how should you do VC if you keep getting rejected? I have got rejected 64 times in one round of funding, right?
Oh wow.
And I open my LinkedIn. I get connected, and for example, today, assume that I'm meeting a large VC, and I met him nicely today at VAMA, and I'll get add him on LinkedIn. I'll get connected, and I open the message box, and I see my messages that I sent to this guy 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and I'm embarrassed like hell. I'm like, shit,
Right.
I think, yeah, if you choose to be an entrepreneur, you leave shame at your home and you walk into the office, right? We can't. There's no while rejection hurts, right? And I take rejection personally, like a mission, right, to prove to the world. But rejection becomes part of life, right? It's your daily it's a daily reminder. You'll get rejected from your top candidate who suddenly declined to join you, to anything, right? Like to VC. So अब वो आदत हो गई है यार. It's hard. Um, what's worked for me, my experience share, Akshay, is that I've been very fortunate to have a network around me. I think one thing that has worked for me very well is a network around me has existed that I can reach out to. I wear vulnerability on my sleeve. I don't care if you judge me, if the other person judges me for asking me for help. But I will go ask 20 people about a problem. 18 will come back with solutions to answer for. Right. So I've had moments where I said, "Yeah, why am I doing this? I was making more money bloody a month that I'm trying to raise now, right? Like, why am I doing this? Like, you're questioning everything, right? Because sometimes rejections are hard, right? Like, and when you're getting rejected for the wrong reason, like for example, हम हिंदी में बात करेंगे, राइट? दूसरा, आपने कुर्ता पजामा पहन कर आया है तो ये स्टार्टअप का नहीं हो सकता. आप पेडिग्रीड फाउंडर नहीं हो. अब IIT IIM नहीं गए. No offense to IIT IIM, I think it's one of the most difficult to crack. But at least talk to me before you reject me, right? Like, at least give us a chance, right? So those things really start playing on your mind, right? But to tell you this, right? Like, I met so many founders on their journeys. An average founder is like, unless you're really great, right? But rejection's been part of everyone's founder. Yeah. Like one of my closest mentors, Bureau Identity founder Anjan. I remember during my fundraising time when I was 60 times rejected. He said, well, if you get to 100 rejections, then you can think that it's not fate. But 100 rejections. So now I have a rule: 100 rejections is what I can take.
Okay. Uh, uh, is there is there like some sort of an astrological prediction which you have about VAMA in terms of when the fundraise cycle will turn?
Yes, I'll share again what happened, right? Like, so we are fortunate to raise capital at the right time. 2023, when we raised the round with Wavemaker leading it, uh, that was a make it or break it time, right? But Acharya ji had so much confidence for some reason, and he says basically your chart that day. So he says you're in a great time field, right, on astrology side.
Okay.
So he said it started by that time, right? But I have my moments, right? Like the Wavemaker IC, I was super nervous. I told them, I called him. I said, "Listen, I'm super nervous. I don't think like I was blabbering, like my words were not coming out of my mouth." And we have an IC in 15 minutes, and Acharya literally said, "Okay, go do a prayer." He did a prayer. And then we requested the IC to come in after 30 minutes. I was freaking out. I was on a family holiday. I remember I was freaking out because
This is like a video call.
it was a Zoom call. If it wouldn't have worked, we would have had to shut shop it.
You had no money in the bank.
I had lent personal money that month to pay salaries. I remember. Yeah, this is all part of the journey. यही तो अब you can look. We can today look back at it when we have money in our bank. So we can laugh at, but when you're in it, right? Like, and for me, more than financial, right? It's proving, can I build this large business that I see, like, and because you're in it, right? You just see it.
Yeah, you see the opportunity here.
Yeah.
What is your runway now?
Yeah, we currently have close to 12 months of runway, and we just one of our investors doubled down on us. So I think our runway now will be close to like 30 odd months.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, that
Yeah,
the Wavemaker only or Bloom or what?
Waymaker and a couple of other angels also came
Okay,
back. Right, so we are fortunate to not burn a lot of money, right? Like, uh, हम हमें आता नहीं है अक्षय ये burn while we burn money, but fundamentally, like for us, हम धंधे वाले लोग हैं ना, तो थोड़ा, and this business fundamentally doesn't require a lot to burn, right? So
no,
yeah,
but
so I think
you are competing with say an AstroTalk, and so you will have to spend on a Facebook ad and like this performance marketing for acquiring customers.
so
Like,
we are
is there
not
another way
competing
to?
with, sure, so we are not competing with an astro talk per se, right? Like I think astrology market, they occupy pole position today is how I call it, right? I think we are competing in the temple space. I think we are as close to number one as we can be
No, but
on revenue. On revenue, not on other vanity metrics, right? Like हम
but
revenue
wouldn't
की
you
बात
need to do performance marketing to acquire customers?
100%, 100%. But Akshay, performance marketing in our category pays you back, right? And in the temple space, this pays us back in about 4 months, right? In about 4.5, 5 months, you are making free cash flow, right? In astrology itself, in about 7, 8 months, you have free cash flow, right? So you need money to sustain yourself for 7, 8 months. Uh, I think we did a mistake at one point of time in our life to blitzscale, right? To just pull everything right. And that was our worst 4, 5 months, you know.
What was
Pressure
why was
from,
it a mistake?
we were
Like,
not ready for it. We were not ready for it. We didn't have the right team. And literally, we were under pressure from investors. And this was the golden time, right? Like 2021, 22, right? We just go get GMV, we will fund you, right? And then everything changed, right? And we are like, okay, we have done revenue, the burn has increased, but and it just doesn't come naturally to us. It's just also a function of who the founders are, right? We feel we can easily build a large scale business by growing 20% month on month. You know, you will have months of seasonality of puja, September, October, November, where we'll grow 50% month on month, but 20%, 25% month on month is great growth, right? If you're able to do that, then that's good, man.
okay, okay. Uh, Here, like the product quality
Yeah.
as such is not under your control, right? People are directly choosing the mandir that they want to operate with. So that is one thing which is possibly a plus point because each person already knows what to expect in terms of product quality because they would choose a specific mandir.
So they choose a puja. The experience of puja is controlled by us and the temple jointly, right? The
Okay.
customer doesn't care कि अगर पुजारी जी ने 5 मिनट लेट पूजा करी है, I am my customer service that day is really difficult, right? So we have to manage such things, right? Um, for them, it's the platform of VAMA, right? They trust VAMA for puja, right? So they will judge us on how the quality is there, right? I don't think that they will. Well, they understand that some things, like for example, we had a temple. Some I remember when Ram Mandir was getting inaugurated, we had a puja in Ayodhya. Suddenly that day, Modi ji's convoy was passing through it. You know, so the puja could not happen for 5 hours, right? So we literally reached out to all our customers and said, today this is what is happening, and we put a news clipping of Modi ji's rally passing through that, right? तो नहीं कर सकते तो नहीं कर सके, right?
So, what are the things that you are doing for customer experience?
Yeah, so for us, I think we try very hard for you to join our live stream, right, of a puja. So I think we do a live stream of the puja. We believe that builds faith. I think we send a video to the customer. We will, if you have bought prasad or anything else, we will send you that. We try to do a feedback loop from the customer to get a rating, and we get a rating of about 9.2 on our pujas today, right?
Wow.
So that's decent for us.
Like, do you have on ground the people or
So
your
we
mechanism
have
is
a few, sure. So we have a few on ground people at some places, but pujaris are trained, so they get tripods and phones. Everything is on a mobile phone. They are trained. to do this puja on their own. But when there are large pujas, then we will have a professional from our team there.
And what is the incentive for a pujari? Does he also get some share of
पुजारी जी
revenue?
को
Or
दक्षिणा मिलती है, पुजारी जी को दक्षिणा मिलती है,
okay, which is optional? Yeah, how does that flow?
which is optional, but mostly all people do it. But he also gets, so from the temple trust, the temple will pay him something as well.
Right. Obviously, there'll be like some sort of like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
salary or something like that. Okay. Okay, so that dakshina is what motivates him to provide good service, basically. Okay. Understood. Okay. You know, uh, do you have, do you see an opportunity for taking this outside India? And,
Yeah.
you might find better revenue
Yeah.
realization outside India than in India.
This every time someone asks me when are you going outside India, I give them a date. The ARPUs outside India are very high, right? This and I
And
believe that the
ARPU is
market
average revenue per user.
average revenue per user, absolutely yes. I think also what has happened in the last 10 years is that Hindus outside India have become more Hindu.
True.
They become more spiritual, right?
True.
We are waiting. My unfortunate part has been my tech and product have been catch up to my hustling or my selling. We are fortunate to get Divik, who was senior CTO for VAMA. He was at Times Internet. He was Insta Astro co-founder, CTO, right, to join us
Okay.
about 2 months back. So I think with him coming in, I'm very confident that 15th August I should launch international, at least for the large Indian diaspora market.
Okay. I'm assuming all the apps in this space, like astrology, the temple apps, would
Yeah,
be
they exist. They exist.
having
Some of them
a-
exist already. I think I think it's just a priority list, right? We want to continue focusing on a few things, right? But yeah, for me, it's been now that we have runway, building things up, building it at our own pace, right? We don't want to rush into it. We tried to do it once earlier, didn't work very well. So yeah.
So when you advertise, what does your ad say? Because you said your focus is more on temple and puja. So
So
what does an ad
astrology,
say?
so sure. So astrology will say for astrology, right? Like people usually are doing or coming for such platforms for a solution or a remedy. So my ad will say, okay, there's a get Rin Mukti Puja done at Rin Mukti Temple at Jain. Click here to know more. You click here, you're taken to the app or a landing page which gives you information about the puja, and then you make a choice of buying it.
Okay. So specific pujas is what you advertise.
Yeah.
Like that works.
Currently specific pujas, absolutely.
Yeah, that has a good conversion rate is what you've seen.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of repeat rates do you see? Like once somebody buys something once, like
So astrology is more sticky today as compared to puja. Puja, because also if you have done a puja for a certain purpose, you will wait for some time, right, before you come back. But I think we see repeat rates of so puja. Unfortunately for us is a new product. It's been only 9 months, so I don't have more data.
okay, not
But
enough data.
yeah, but we see most of our users coming back at least twice in those 9 months.
Okay. So, what are your plans to monetize existing user base more, like cross sell or whatever? Like,
I think we are doing it already a very high. So actually, we have a number that was transaction by DAO, right? I'm not sure if other people look at it, but for me, every internet business is built on commerce, content, and community, right? Someone will start from content or community and come to commerce. I had such little money in the starting that we only could do commerce. Like literally हम बोलते थे भाई आज कितना पैसा खर्चा हुआ, इतना पैसा आया, बैंक में पैसा बचा गया. We literally that's how we have functioned, right? So our DAO to transaction percentages are upwards of 10 to 15%, right? On good days we hit 20 to 23%, right? So we see those numbers as numbers for us here. I want to try to now go. I want to go try now a little back and say, okay, can I give more content to this customer, right? So I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum where my monetizations are very high.
increase the DAO right now. Okay.
Yeah, increase the DAO, add repeatability, build such problems. Right.
And
At a unit economic level, things work very well. Some vanity metrics we also have to create.
what are the reasons for people to come on the app again when they're not transacting for a puja? Like, what is the
So
kind of
today, so there hasn't been anything till 1st of April.
okay,
You could come to read your horoscope, but now we have about 8 temples where you can virtually do a walkthrough in the darshan. It's an immersive experience. You can walk through the temple. You can do some
okay,
micro transactions. You can do gamification. We have a virtual jap mala where you can do a virtual jap mala, right? Like people can do
okay,
jap, right? You can come see live stream. You can see a puja. You
okay.
can see a live
These live
astrology.
streams are free.
These live streams are free, absolutely.
Okay. 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 And
Yeah,
the reason is to make it free is that some of them will want to give a dakshina or something
absolutely,
during the live
absolutely.
or live
Yeah,
stream based
yeah.
commerce. And
Correct. Live stream based commerce.
see, on the fundraise part, we did do a fair amount of discussion where you spoke of rejections. But you know, the successful the conversions which happened, you said angels, some
Yeah,
angels have backed you, and also
yeah.
Wavemaker, Bloom, and also, what is it that led to this success? Is there a
I'll share my journey, right, of raising capital. So the first round, we raised a friends and family round. Within 4 hours of me sending the pitch to the first micro VC, we had a term sheet in like 8 hours.
wow?
Crazy, right? Like, and you're like, wow, you're right? Like, and then you feel like maybe we are that good, That's what's a year, right? There's a fund called Point One Capital, came in, large angel, Archana Priyadarshini, also came in, one of the prolific angel investors of India. We had Himanshu from Khayal, a lot of people, right? Money raised was some all on. Then comes the seed round, right? And that's when rejection
These
starts.
one question here: these angels who
Yes.
came in,
Yeah.
so you pitched to a micro VC, and then they would have also introduced other angels to the deal, like they would have
So
gotten
yeah,
a
Micro VC introduced us. Also, it was my own personal network. So Akshay, I was an angel investor before I was a internet founder, right?
okay, okay,
Because I was generating free cash flow in the previous business, and I thought, what will I do with it? So I started investing in startups. And I wanted to be part of this
okay,
ecosystem, right? Then did the seed round. While the rejections were there, but I think we got one of the best angel rounds of the country at that point of time. We had people like Kunal Shah investing. We had Varun from
wow,
Mama. We had Arjun Vaidya. We had Rohan and Swati from Cashkaro. I had Umang from Kardeko. Right? You name an internet entrepreneur and he's on my cap table. Right? Like I built that kind of, and it is also a function of I wanted to learn from these guys. Right. I got Harit Nagpal, who is the guy credited for Hutch to Vodafone merger. He's Startup Play's CEO. I'm
okay,
his first angel investment in life. Right.
wow,
And I pitched to him and he said, look, I know this business because this is telecom vast. All my life I've
right,
done this.
right,
Right.
right, right, right.
We got a bunch of really, really cool angels. We got Huddle Accelerator or a Huddle Fund to come in at that point. We got Super Morpheus, right? Some really great Indian names to come be part of it. Then we got Arjun Vaidya. Like for me, the journey of raising capital made me realize that it is so important to get the right angel. Like Arjun spends like there was a time that Arjun literally took me to class and said, "Your social media is horrible, Manu. We'll fix it together," you know. And I'm not a social media person. I thought my social media was very good. And Arjun
Yeah,
literally
right,
spent a month with me to fix it. And our social media today is, I believe it's one of the best in the category. Right. But literally Arjun was my social media manager for a month, right? Like it is his, like, his graciousness to do it, right? Like
right,
I have sat with such founders, and like I told you, right, I have this nature of being like a uh, I can really pile on to you if I want your help. I can really bug you so I can follow up. So people have really helped us, right? Like we got Sairi from Shiros, we got Renu Satti from Paytm, right? And like I wanted to build community, and I spent time with Sairi, who built India's largest women community. So the people that I could go back and then I'll tell you, Akshay, we got The Gokunkoi family. Gokunkoi family is Philippines' largest business group. Okay.
Okay.
They invest in social life commerce. I was talking to
Okay.
Agora's founder about us, right? Agora is a large VoIP platform, world's largest VoIP platform, if I'm not wrong. And, he connected me to Liza. Liza invested in us. Then Liza introduced us to Wavemaker because she's an LP on Wavemaker, right?
Okay.
And, basic things, Akshay, like sending your updates on time and having an ask. Like literally every update I sent, I said, okay, I have this ask. Can you please introduce me to some VCs in this specific region, etc. Right? Like Bloom Founders Fund, right? Like I've chased them for a really long time for them to put in a fund from the Founders Fund as well, right? Because they have done similar bets in the space. But yeah,
Okay. So I mean, one key insight is over index on angels. Like they can really, especially at the early stage, they can
man.
really make or
Super
break.
helpful. Super helpful. And also like because they have been in every problem that you think that it's only happening with you. And I met Varun of Mama Earth at a social place, and I said, yeah, I had this, and he told me a simple one line of something, right? And I just increased my runway by 1 month, and it was like, and I'm just looking at him, I'm thinking, why did I not think of this yet? You know, so and you think that because they're in the ecosystem much senior than us, they know a lot of problems. So that's been super helpful, yeah.
And uh, what's the best way to reach out to these super angels?
Yeah, cold email hustle works as well as warm it works. For me, it's exactly 50-50, right? I have reached out, cold emailed a lot of it, right? Like, and even rejections would introduce me. Like, I pitched to Sequoia, I remember, and I think while they did not invest in us at that time because they had Shrimandir in their portfolio, they introduced us to their scouts program. They had a scout program. And Umang is a Sequoia scout who chose to invest in us. Then, because Umang became an angel, he got another micro VC on the fund, right? It's just doors just keep opening. But you also have to keep them updated exactly about what's happening, what help you need. They get 50 emails a day. Yeah, you know
All right.
you need to build some kind of rapport with them to be able to call them, to be able to build something with them.
Okay. 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 Fascinating. Okay. Tell me also about, you know, you have a very unique founding team where two of you are like real corporate guys, and the third one is like from a completely different background. How do you make
Yeah,
that founder relationship work out?
yeah, I think we have not been the best of friends, but we know each other for 15 years. uh, Also, the three of us are in a very similar age bracket, right? We are 30, I think like I'm 42, Himanshu is 42, Acharya is about 39, right? So I think the biggest thing that joins us at the hip is our desire to make this VAMA large. You know, that aspiration कि मन्नू लड़ रहा है मेरे से आके, ऐसा नहीं है यार कि लड़ाई नहीं होती, वो फाउंडर है, हम रोज सुबह लड़ते, right? And I'm a little assertive aggressive, so I will have my way, or I will talk to you, right? And I'll show my displeasure very open, but it is because of work, right? We have some rituals, right? Like every Tuesday we do a meeting. uh, if you're late by 2 minutes to the meeting, you pay 10,000 rupee fine. We'll deduct from your salary.
Okay.
If you're not, if you're traveling and your video is not, like, you have to give this meeting the meeting. The meeting starts with literally what will be discussed stays in this room. When we go out of the room, like, it's literally like a confidentiality kind of thing that uh, nothing is personal. It's just business. And we are literally like lawyers in the room and that time. Like, we are all fighting for our own points, right? But all of us know what's best for Vama, you know. And we try to have a social, like, the meeting will end and we'll try to have a drink of चाय, चाय अचार जैसा चाय पी लोगे, कुछ बर्गर खाने चले जाएंगे, कि हम अगर दिमाग में कुछ है भी ना, तो that after thought also is gone by the end of it, right? We are very disciplined with each other on these things, right? We'll have the maximum fun. Like Himanshu loved to play cricket. I'll do a lot of fighting with him for cricket, right? But the idea is that this is supposed to be fun also, right? When you're building together. If it's not fun,
Right.
then why we're doing it, right? So yeah. So I think the diverse backgrounds really help, yeah, Akshay. Like there are some things that look my thoughts is because I'm in the ecosystem. I'll say, "Dekho, मैंने सुना market में यार, this is new flavor of season. You should do this." And then Acharya ji will say, "You every time go to investor, meet an investor, and come back and change the company's direction." You know? And Himanshu will say, so it's very diverse, right? Like, and the diverse opinion really helps because they see the same problem by three different ways. If there is vulnerability, there is trust so I think co-founders can't exist without vulnerability and trust, right? Like that magic cannot happen, right? If that agar wo 100 and it is 0 or 1, right? Like if it is anything in the middle, it doesn't work.
How do you decide something like who is the CEO? Is that a decision which is taken, or?
I think the guy who's responsible for cash flow of any company will become the CEO by default, right? Because you are deciding how this company will run. That's the biggest thing, that will make this decision. And then there is an alpha in the room always, right? So the alpha in the room is always the guy who's. So if you're the alpha in the room, it is your job to go get cash flow, right? So yeah.
Oh, who is the CEO?
Actually, I'm the CEO. I'm the CEO.
Okay. And what is Himanshu's role? So I understand what is Acharyaji's role, of course. What is
Himanshu is responsible for operations and product, right? He runs the
Okay.
ops for the company. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, content, HR, finance also reports into him.
Okay. So operations here would be like you have on payroll astrologers who are doing the consults or the Kundli requirements which are coming in, managing all of that.
Absolutely. And every early stage company, especially like ours, which is doing astrology and puja, these are literally two companies, right? Like we're running as well.
Yes.
There is a lot of ops work. Yeah, there is a lot of ops. Puja time pe ho rahi hai, nahi ho rahi hai, prasad pahunch raha hai, logistics hai.
Okay. Okay.
Astrology side pe operations hai.
And it's good to have astrology, the operations and product with one person, because essentially early stage mein product is all about automating operations, right?
I think early stage founders are product managers, right? Because founders
true.
होता है हमें ठीक लगता है तो ऐसे ही चलेगा, right?
True.
So yeah.
Have you
We
hired
work with a couple of consultants. We work with a couple of consultants, yeah, on product. Haven't
Right.
been able to find the right guy yet for product. But looking, anyone who's a head of product would like to apply to VAMA, please apply.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Okay. Cool. So let's wrap up with, do you have any words of wisdom for the youngsters who are listening to this episode?
I think the biggest thing, my learning, always dream really high. If you were to meet my school friends, Akshay, you will die laughing. I'm a almost college dropout, horrible student in school. I was laid off in 2007 or 8 in my first job. Then 197 PTM happened, right? And then life changed, right? So I think never to dream less. And I think just to back yourself, man. Take more risks. Life's too short to not take these risks, right? Like I was very happy in my bootstrap environment. It just doesn't challenge me, right? Like this is a huge gamble that I'm taking, and I enjoy it. Like as a person, I've evolved who I am in the last 3 years, right? And two things that I personally live by, right? Like one is that your network is your net, right? Is very important, right? Build those relationships. If you're in school, you're in college, the guy sitting next to you in college could become internet unicorn founder, right? Make sure that like I feel really bad. I know a lot of people from my school who have done very well. Right, Ashti Rover is one of them. He doesn't know me, right? Because I was never friendly with him in school, or a Manish Paul, right? Like who's a famous actor, right? Like so, I just make sure that you make friends, or at least you know those guys, because then you call them up, right? Like that network will really help. And I genuinely believe in hustle, man. Like when I mean hustle, I mean just trying it all out, right? And like the startup ecosystem is really good in India today. it genuinely helps you if you embrace it enough, right? Like people will come out of the woodwork to come and help you, man. I'm a living example of this, right? But when it's your chance to help people, you should be also the first one to do it. Like it's a circle; it doesn't stop.
True. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Manu.
Thanks, Akshay. Been pleasure. Yeah.